Interested in some STURRDRUM Studios and Paleo Files merchandise? Check out our links for that in the description down below. Don't forget, if you have any questions regarding the species profile in this episode, please feel free to contact STURRDRUM Studios at askpaleo@yahoo.com. Also check out our Instagram page. You can find the link below. Thank you. Now, on with the episode.
Was initially believed to be a pack.
Follow me as I am your tour guide through this adventure.
To pounce on and pin down prey.
Gallimimus herd looks like it's a vagrant predator.
JP-10, do you copy? Over. JP-10, do you copy? Over.
Who's JP-10?
The Tyrannosaur is loose and she's in your vicinity. Over. The Tyrannosaur is loose and she's in your vicinity. Over.
Roger that. I'm gonna take a look and see if I can find her. Roger that, I just found her. She just got some dinner. So go ahead and send out a unit over here in my location, and we're going to trank her and we're going to try to put her back into her enclosure. Copy that?
Copy.
Roger that, over and out.
Extracting species profile.
The Tyrant-Lizard King, also known as Tyrannosaurus Rex. This magnificent animal was truly a terrifying apex superpredator of the late Cretaceous. This superpredator had, unlike its Hollywood Jurassic Park counterpart, remarkable eyesight. It had eyes the size of softballs and both faced forward, giving it the ability to see three-dimensional images. It could clearly see prey from 4 miles away. Tyrannosaurus Rex was a dino with an attitude. Its massive bite calculated at approximately 1,000 pounds per square inch, a bite force that could literally bend steel, gives it the most powerful bite of any land predator alive or extinct today. Its maxillary teeth, serrated on both sides, were as thick as railroad spikes. Add those to the massive bite force, and you have an animal that could penetrate 12 inches deep into bone and shatter it into pieces. As remarkable as it sounds, the Tyrant King did not only feed like crocs, shredding and devouring chunks of flesh and bone. In fact, we now have factual evidence showing that these animals were very selective feeders.
For quite some time, a debate has been going on whether or not Tyrannosaurus Rex, along with the other Tyrannosaur species, were either a predator or a scavenger. Well, through the fossil record, you can actually tell that these animals have done both. Just like animals of today, of our animal kingdom today, you see animals like lions, jackals, hyenas, and even wolves go after dead prey. These animals aren't moving, so that's a free meal, compared to having to actually take down an animal, especially if that animal is heavily armored, or anything like that. But these animals still have the know-how and the ability to take down those prey. So take for example an animal that was found in Mongolia. The animal found in Mongolia was a Saurolophus, otherwise known as a hadrosaur species. Now this animal had died, went down a waterbank or any type of riverbed, and was washed up onto a shoreline. Now all the sand and debris had actually washed over top of these things, and the only thing that was sticking out was the upper arm bone, or the humerus. Now, a tyrannosaur had walked by, and this species of tyrannosaur from Mongolia was a Tarbosaurus. Very similar to Tyrannosaurus Rex, very close cousins, just the Asian equivalent. And the premaxillary teeth, that's the teeth at the front, also known as the D-shaped teeth, were found scraped along the humerus to actually be able to tear off muscle and tissue to feed on. Take, for example, an Oreo. When you open it up, you have this cream here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to scrape the cream away, right? So what you do is you put this up on the top of your mouth and simply scrape away. That is literally exactly what tyrannosaurs were doing. Now with Tarbosaurus scooting on aside to another video, we actually see that Tyrannosaurus Rex actually scavenged too. We actually found a pelvic girdle that was found from a Triceratops that had been fed off of. Now we're not sure 100% whether this animal was actually taken down by the Tyrannosaurus Rex or if it was fed on because the animal had died. But you actually see the same D-shaped teeth scraped along the pelvic girdle. You also see chunks of the bone missing. So it did swallow the bone as well as a very particular feeder and rip the muscle off. Now that's on the scavenging side, but on the predatory side, let's hop over to North America where I'm from, and we have found hadrosaur fossils, the tail vertebrae or caudal vertebrae, that was found with an actual tooth of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, the maxillary teeth, those are the ones on the side, right here, the traditional Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth that was lodged into the vertebrae. Now, what's crazy is this vertebrae was of a juvenile at the time that it was attacked. This animal got away from this Tyrannosaurus Rex and was actually able to have it heal. So we noticed that on the actual vertebrae that there was a formation of calcium that was built up around the tooth. We didn't know there was a tooth there. Put it through a CAT scan, and the CAT scan literally showed a cutout of a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth that was lodged into the bone. Now, Tyrannosaurus Rex, along with a lot of the other Tyrannosaur species and even most theropods, if not all theropods, along with our own animals of today in the animal kingdom, they didn't go after fully healthy animals. They went after, as you can see in all the National Geographics and Discovery and all that, they went after the sick, the young, and the weak. Tyrannosaurus Rex would have went not only after the young, the sick, and the weak, but also its primary food source would have most likely have been hadrosaurs, as they were a lot easier to take down than Triceratops or Ankylosaurus.
In the Cretaceous, plant-eating herbivores faced vicious killers, and none of them have the worst reputation than Tyrannosaurus Rex, possibly the largest land predator that ever lived. The Tyrannosaurus Rex could grow up to 18 feet tall and 40 feet long, with jaws designed to tear meat to shreds.
The jaws of this animal could leave a bite mark 4 feet long.
Unlike any other theropod, the Tyrannosaurs actually had, instead of a split down the center of the skull between the nasals, actually had its own nasal bone, which helped whenever it actually took on the force of 1,000 pounds per square inch.
This beast ruled a world where physical traits more than intelligence determined winners and losers, but Tyrannosaurus Rex had both superb biomechanics and, by dinosaur standards, a stellar intellect. Compared to prehistoric plant eaters, its cerebrum, the part of the brain associated with strategy, was huge. So was the cerebellum, which controlled the muscle functions. This was an animal that could plan and execute a devastating attack.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its skull almost 5 feet long. and up to 60 serrated teeth, able to cover 15 feet in a single stride. Its metatarsals had a unique feature found in all tyrannosaurs. Unlike other theropod dinosaurs, which had 3 separate metatarsals that actually led from the ankles to the toes, this unique animal actually had 2 outer metatarsals that literally crushed the center metatarsal.
This formation of the bone is called arctometatarsalia,
creating a block. The block was used for better motion. When an animal like Allosaurus actually ran, the 3 metatarsals would actually rub against each other, causing friction, which ultimately caused the animal to lose momentum and tire out quicker. With this naturally crushed 3 metatarsals on a tyrannosaur, it actually reduced the friction, which actually caused it to be able to run at a steady speed equivalent to an Olympic sprinter. Unfortunately for the Olympic sprinter, it wouldn't actually be able to keep up. This predator would outrun the Olympic sprinter, and unfortunately, you could not run this beast.
For Tyrannosaurus Rex, the first years are the most dangerous, but the infants and hatchlings have one large advantage: a family ruled by parents ready to fight to the death. The brain of Tyrannosaurus Rex had the ability for more complex behaviors, especially when it came to parental care. Hatchlings came into the world protected like few others in the Cretaceous. Tyrannosaurus Rex had a refined array of senses that could lead it straight to a prey animal. It had an acute sense of smell. Behind the nostrils are large, cavernous chambers lined with sheets of sensory tissues, able to detect odors from miles away. The olfactory bulbs transmitted that information to the brain. It could pick up the faintest of odors from meat as it walked across the landscape.
Tyrannosaurus Rex had a keen sense of smell, the equivalent of 100 bloodhounds all duct taped together, and had the largest olfactory bulbs of any animal, living or extinct, on this planet.
Looking into the face of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, you'll be able to actually tell that the nostrils are a full 10 inches apart, giving the animal the ability to smell in stereo, which really helps with triangulating and locating its potential prey or its hatchlings.
This carnivore could triangulate an odor, pinpoint its exact source.
So T-Rex was first discovered, or the first reports of T-Rex were in Colorado back in the late 1800s. Isolated teeth were found for what we now know to be a T-Rex. At the time, the specimen had not been actually described. It wasn't described until the early 1900s by Henry Fairfield Osborne. He described one of the first 2 skeletons discovered by Barnum Brown in 1900 and 1902. One of the formations you find T-Rex in would be the Hell Creek Formation. It's probably the most famous for this animal. The Hell Creek Formation is a network of channel and fluvial systems, meaning basically it's river channels and stream deposits. So a lot of the material that we find from T-Rex is disarticulated, and it can be a bit chunky, and in some cases very difficult to identify. The teeth are pretty obvious, big, very sharp teeth. You kind of get the gist on what kind of animal that came from. The other main formation we find T-Rex in is the Lance Creek Formation. Lance Creek Formation, it's even more channels and fluvial systems. However, that formation is a little bit older than the Hell Creek Formation. And we're only talking about 1 to 5 million years old, year difference there. So it's really not enough to drastically change the paleoecology of a depositional environment. T-Rex primarily lived in subtropical environments, but it was not refined to those environments. They've been found in several different formations, including the Hell Creek, the Lance Creek, and There's a few other occurrences that may or may not be T-Rex. We've found an undescribed species of Tyrannosaurus. We've only found the teeth from that animal, so we don't have enough to describe, but in the Aguja Formation of western Texas, which is a subtropical environment, it likely is not Tyrannosaurus Rex, but until we find some postcranial material, it's just hard to say exactly. On the note of paleoecology, T-Rex shared its environment with a variety of other animals, including the Triceratops, the Edmontosaurus, the Oviraptor, or Oviraptorids, now known as Anzuwilii here in North America, and a long list of other animals like Pachycephalosaurus, and it gets even more obscure with, say, the Cardiolestes beyond that. Originally, we thought all theropods, all dinosaurs for that matter, drug their tail on the ground, and that was a drastic misconception. And we based that primarily off of our observations off of lizards. When you don't have a modern analog, it's difficult to tell what the behavior of an animal would be, especially one as unique as T-Rex, or any of the other theropods for that matter. Now, another big misconception about T-Rex is that it was a scavenger. Now, this animal did have the highest bite force of all known animals. And if you were to look at modern day predators, look for lions, for example, they are very opportunistic. No animal is unwilling to turn down a free meal. Tyrannosaurus Rex regained popularity in the 60s, where several skeletons were discovered, and more recently in the 90s when a very famous Tyrannosaurus Rex named Sue had been discovered by Peter Larson out of Black Hills Institute. And you can Google that whole ordeal to get the story behind that one. It is long, drawn out. There's lots of different stories as to how everything actually went down. Now, this T-Rex here is based off of the T-Rex named Ivan. It is an exact copy of Ivan with some missing pieces filled in as well. It's about 40 feet long, and he is extremely impressive. And given the opportunity, you should definitely come down to Texas Through Time and check this guy out. We'll have him on display until the end of October throughout the year 2019.
Thank you for watching this episode of Paleo Files. If you liked the episode, we would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you're interested in keeping up to date with future content, consider subscribing to our channel and checking out the STURRDRUM Studios official Facebook page. The link can be found in the description below. Want to know how to support the channel and receive some awesome perks? Then check out our STURRDRUM Studios Patreon page and consider becoming a patron. This link is also provided in the link below.